This is how Moscow police is dealing with people who came out to demand free and fair elections. This segment of the Tverskaya street was blocked off by the police several hours before the protest. People were pushed out into alleyways. According to the participants of the protest, Moscow police and Russian National Guard were first beating people with extreme brutality and only then arresting them. Husband of Inga Kudrycheva was at the protest. He was first detained and then sent to the hospital due to having been beaten.
He was beaten, then dragged aside and put into prison truck. Today he has been discharged from the hospital. Fortunately, he has no serious injuries. A lot of bruises, and doctors suspect pulmonary contusion. Generally, Moscow has a lot of injured. There are reports that one man had his leg broken, but he was just jogging past the mayor's office. He had his morning run. Some had their heads hurt badly. These were the most vicious arrests in the last few years.
Saturday protests had the highest number of people detained in the last decade. According to Info, Moscow police has detained at least 1,400 protesters. At least 152 of them spent 2 more nights in police stations.
People were grabbed and dragged into the buses, and oftentimes it was much more force than was necessary. People were not putting up any resistance, they were without any weapons.
One of the first arrested citizens was fined for 15,000 rubles by the court, which is around $263. Many were released but obliged to show up in the court later.
They have demonstrated us that legal ways of fighting elections and instances when people want to change authorities, they do not work. People take to the streets, and because the authorities are in such a trap where they cannot counter it with any other way, they decided to use force. On July 27th, the authorities have shown us that they have no other way of reacting but with force.
The protests in support of independent candidates to the Moscow City Council have been lasting for 2 weeks. They started after City Electoral Commission has refused almost all of independent candidates to run. The official reason is that a considerable amount of signatures they provided in support of their candidate registration were fake.
A candidate who is running for Moscow City Council has to show signatures that support his nomination of 3% of local population. There are specialists who evaluate the validity of signatures. According to them, 10% of signatures were fake. Such legal loophole exists to deny some candidates registration.
Experts also say that the attempts to suppress protest and dissent are made all over the country.
На самом деле была дана команда.
Essentially, there was a command to behead the protest. It didn't really work out, because you don't really need any leaders of the protest. People take to the street not because of Navalny, Gudkov, Yashin, Sobol or Mitrokhin, but because they are fed up with current authorities. The slogan of the protest was "Give admittance," but it soon changed to "Putin is a thief."
Moscow police has announced that the protests on Saturday were illegal and organizers never received a permission.
ОМОН, полиция, по сути, демонстрируют свою готовность.
Special police force and police itself are demonstrating their devotion to Putin and are showing people that, if anything, they will just roll over the people. This is intimidation and demonstration of force. People who came out to the protest in modern-day Russia at least deserve respect. The legislation here is very repressive. If a person is noticed, he will never have any chance to build a career.
Next protest is planned for next Saturday, which will be August 3rd. It was sanctioned by Moscow authorities, but they moved the location of the protest to Sakharova Avenue instead of Lubyanka Square, where the headquarters of the FSB is located.
The government is literally spitting in our faces. We are deprived of elections. We are deprived of any elections. Let's be real. There are no allowing us to vote in such insignificant elections as the Moscow City Council elections. I'm scared, but next Saturday I will come out to protest.
The EU, PACE and international human rights organizations have denounced Russian authorities for their extreme brutality. Reported by Yulia Boshko for UATV.